Okay, so today we are talking about Fargone. I try not to mess with early access games anymore. I think I've been burned too many times. Too many projects promising you the moon and ending up being complete garbage, or scams, or just games never being finished with the devs running away with your money. I gotta learn my lesson. But I still make some exceptions from time to time, like everybody else, and Fargone was one of these exceptions. I don't know why, I just had a good feeling about it. To be fair, it's been sitting on my Steam wishlist forever. It was on sale for pretty much nothing, like $5, so I'm not really taking a huge risk by giving it a chance anyway. And on paper, it checks all the boxes of something we would enjoy. Open world, survival RPG, loot and crafting, good atmospheres, and it draws some inspiration from the Stalker game, so what's not to love, right? It's still in development, so I'm not gonna do a full review, that would be a bit unfair. It still needs to cook, a lot of things are gonna change, more content is gonna come, let's say it's still rough around the edges and some bugs need to be fixed. But it's in a state where you can play and enjoy it perfectly already, and after sinking 20 odd hours into it, I have to say, I really like it. It feels really unique, and it's got a ton of potential. I also wanted to talk about it before it officially releases, during this alpha, beta, whatever stage this is, because it's a solo dev behind it. The game is already in a good shape, and he's constantly improving and updating things, and I find this super impressive. I think these projects need all the support they can get. Zero Sievert and Tunguska the Visitation are two other games I covered on the channel that have very similar stories. Passion projects, built by a single person, somewhat Stalker inspired, that turned out to be really good and fun games in the end, so I hope Fargone will join them in the future, because it clearly has the potential to do so. Okay, I really need to chill with these never-ending introductions, let's talk about the game. So, Fargone takes place in the Barrens, a pretty big open world that was destroyed by a weird nuclear disaster, and now monsters, mutants, and different factions of people roam the land and fight to control it. Sounds pretty familiar already, right? You start as a runner, a faction very similar to the loners in Stalker, and you can play the whole game with them, or decide to join other factions in the process. I haven't done it yet personally, I stuck with the runners for my first playthrough, but you already have a ton of missions to do, from clearing up areas from mutants, helping people getting harassed by bandits, investigating missing relatives. I'm not gonna name everything, and helping scientists understand the weird stuff happening around. There's already a lot of things to do. I wish the mission would dig a bit deeper into the lore though. Right now, everything feels like a side quest in a way, not really the main event. It's really good side quests, don't get me wrong, and I had a lot of fun doing them, but I hope a main questline will come at some point to let us go deeper and wrap everything together with a lot more stories and details. The atmosphere is great, which is a very important point for me. I mean, it's great most of the time. Again, it's still very early and the game absolutely nails the atmosphere when it's foggy, raining, or during toxic storms. The background music and sound design are on point and fit perfectly the mood too, but there's big stretch of gameplay during bright, sunny days that are very colorful and they feel a bit off, in my opinion. I don't know, I enjoy the contrast between this and more scary times, but I feel it's missing a little something, but it's almost there. I'm saying this mainly because the underground areas, especially the bunkers, are close to perfect. You lose some of the loot you have on you when you die in this game, so I can't describe how it feels to prepare yourself for hours to go to the bunker, bring the best loot you have with you, and have the door locked behind you as soon as you get in. And now you're on your own. There is no map in here, you have to navigate and find your way by leaving flares behind you, not to get lost. There's creepy stuff happening all around, swarms of enemies, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I'm running in circles. Oh no, wait, I don't think I went here. What the fuck was that? I don't want to go down now. I mean, I think that's the only way I have to go down. I'm gonna get jumped. I feel like I'm in the Alien movie right now. Ah! Jesus Christ. This game. Hey, that's good. That's pretty good. It's a pretty I wasn't expecting that jump scare. Fuck off! Okay, we need to get out of here. I am not staying here any longer. It's so dark. I should have brought like NVGs or something. Yeah, I'm not going there. We need to get out of here. That's what I mean when I say this game has a ton of potential. When it does something right, it really does it well. And I'm sure all the areas that are lacking right now will improve with time. There's already a lot of items to look for, from food and medicine for basic survival, plenty of weapons, ammo, attachments, outfits, armors, and everybody knows we love spending hours looting and hoarding stuff around here. You will need different loadouts depending on where you're playing on the map. Some areas need radiation protection, some fights will require good armors. The fact that you lose gear on death will make you try a bit of everything, and the gameplay loop is pretty solid. The shooting feels great, the gunplay in general is already pretty smooth, and I love that the weapons look great even with the low poly style, and they sound great too. There's a lot of choices depending on your playstyle, with a couple rare and powerful weapons to find on top of everything. You have a basic cooking system too. It's a survival game after all, so on top of staying well fed and hydrated, you need to be careful not to become sick, infected, breaking bones and all that fun stuff. The crafting is pretty basic right now, but it's all very useful things. You can craft furniture, repair kits, disassemble what you don't need. You can make your own little hideout somewhere to stash all your loot if you want, and that's really nice. Or simply decide to camp on the road and always stay on the move. And it's an RPG, so you will slowly gain experience and unlock new skills the more you progress. I went the loot goblin way, of course, but you can focus on survival or fighting depending on your playstyle, and it's something that will get expanded even more in the future from what I read. The only thing that annoyed me so far is the map. I find it very confusing, you never know which way you're going. Can I just have an arrow pointing in the direction my character is looking at instead of whatever this is? I mean, the good thing is that I pretty much decided to explore everything and get familiar with the world by myself after getting frustrated with the map, and there's a lot of cool areas to discover and loot that are not marked anywhere on the map that you need to find by yourself. So you're actually rewarded for going out of the beaten path, which is really satisfying. And finding random Stalker-inspired locations is a bit of a treat, I have to say. After a while you can navigate pretty easily just using the compass, but it's just a bit tough when you get started. You will have to do a lot of back and forth between some places, but there's a guide system where you can hire people to fast travel to most of the important towns, so it's never really an issue. Honestly, I generally just walk everywhere. The world feels pretty alive, there is always some encounters happening, different factions fighting, mutants storming people, and there's no better feeling than looting dead bodies after a big fight. Just make sure you always carry some energy drinks and a good backpack, because going back to base overloaded can be a real pain. I love seeing a location far in the distance and going, okay, let's go check it out. That's probably my favorite part of the game so far, having a new, tough but interesting world to explore and tons of good loot to find, if you can survive. I don't really care for multiplayer, but for the people that have friends, a co-op mod will coming in the future, so that's good news. I guess it's gonna be super useful for some bosses, because a lot of them I'm not really sure what to do besides cheesing them. I always get my ass kicked in straight up fights. There's a lot of other things I could talk about, but I'm not gonna spoil it too much for those who want to try the game. It still needs to cook, but all the base mechanics are here and working, the world is already pretty interesting and feels unique, the gameplay is solid, and it's been a great experience so far. If you want a fully complete and polished game, this is obviously not for you, yet. This is the definition of a rough diamond so far. But for everybody else looking for a cheap, cool game to play and support a very dedicated dev with his passion project at the same time, it's really not a bad pick in my opinion, and I can't wait to see all the improvements that are gonna come and what it will look like in a couple months.